Hello everybody, I'm Alicia. Welcome to my Beautiful Nights channel. This video is in celebration of my 200,000 subscribers, and for this tutorial I am going to show you how to make my most favorite design to date. This design, out of everything that I have ever made, is my #1 favorite. I created this flower way back before I started YouTube, and I knew that it had a lot of potential, and I knew that if I experimented with it more and I used different kinds and sizes of beads, that I would get totally different looks. And I wore this ring here in one of my tutorials. I think it was my second tutorial, and I currently have 389 tutorials or videos on my channel. So very long time ago, back in 2011, I wore this, and I had a lot of requests to make this ring. And at the time when I made it, I struggled making it. It was really confusing for me, and it's mostly because I used sequins and because of how I have them stacked. And I felt like I didn't have enough confidence to show how to make it, and not just that, but I really wanted to experiment with this design and see what else I can come up with. So other than using sequins, because I'll show you here, this is done with sequins. This one's really pretty. This one's gorgeous. And as you can see, I made them such a long time ago. I used silver line seed beads, and they're all tarnished because, you know, it's silver inside. This one is my absolute favorite. I love that one. This one's really cool. I have gold, black, hot pink. And then I have this one. And then I found shell beads here. So after I made the sequin flower rings, I, at the time, used to go to thrift stores all the time, and I would take clothes apart for the materials, and I ended up finding these flat disc shell beads. They're 8mm around. One side is the mother of pearl look, but the other side is really sharp and rough. Anyways, I realized that I could probably use these shells to make a flower because they're kind of like sequins. And I did. And this is the first one I did that wasn't with sequins. And I actually used lampwork 4mm rounds in the back because at the time that's all I had. Yeah, this is really old stuff that I'm showing you guys. So after I did the sequins and the shell, I ended up finding some flat wooden beads at the thrift stores, and I think I got these off of a purse, and I made this flower. And as you can see, these beads here are like really thick, and I think they're like 9 or 10mm around, and that's a cool looking ring, isn't it? And then I found these here, which are coconut, and they're dyed. They're so cool. I made this huge flower, and on the back I did wooden beads. Now when you increase the size of your petals, you have to increase the size of your base so that you can get them to work together. So I went from using 11O seed beads with 4mm beads as the base to doing, I think these are 12mm disc beads with 8O seed beads, and for the base I have 8mm rounds. And I also thought, what if I did more petals going around? So all of these here have 6 petals on the top and 6 on the bottom, so it's a total of 12. And this one here, I thought, what if I do 8? So I did 8 on the top and 8 on the bottom, and I got a flower that looks really thick and full, as you can see. But it's not as pretty. The beads aren't laying as nicely as they are in these other flowers here. Here, I'll show you this ring. You see how the beads are just perfectly fitted together? And I think that's because I use 6 on top and 6 on the bottom. And this one is 8 on top, 8 on the bottom, and that's the look I got. And here is the back side. So with this one, I use these rice-shaped beads, and all the other ones I have used rounds. So as you can see, you do have several alternatives for this. It's just really playing around and experimenting with this design. So recently, I went onto BB Craft, and I found that they have these really good quality shell disc beads. I think these were 8 or 10mm. I'll put the size down there in the description bar. But there's 500 of them, 500 pieces, And there's white in here, there's cream colors, there's brown. It's a really beautiful mix. And what I did is I went through and I picked out all of the bright white mother of pearl ones, and I made this necklace with them, and it's so pretty. It's bridal looking. And on the back I used these shell rice beads that I also found at BB Craft, and it just turned out so perfectly. I will be making a 5th flower for this necklace, and I'll show how to do it in the video. And I'm really excited to see what that's going to look like finished. It's really bright and pretty. Here are the rice beads that I got from BB Craft. I put them in this container. They actually come on strings when you order them. And playing with the shell, I was going through all of my beads, and I remembered that I got some of these disc beads. These right here. These are Czech. They call them rondelles at some stores, and some places they call them discs, but really they are a disc. These are 8mm. See there? Czech rondelle. Transparent ruby. 8mm. These are actually like hard to find, okay? I rarely ever find these beads. So this ring here I made with these, and for the base I did, let me take the ring off, I did 4mm Czech druks, as you can see, and I stayed with the same color. I actually managed to find beads in my stash that matched the petals, and I came up with this ring. So cool, love it. And then I remembered that like over the years, I've always had this design in my head, and I've wanted to do a video, but like I said, I've been collecting things. I've been getting prepared for this video for such a long time. I found these on, I think it was Potomac Beads. I'll have the link for it down there. And these here are the same beads, but they're smaller. They are 6mm. And I got these online too, and my idea was that I wanted to show you guys how to make an earring. This is an earring. Look at this. It's so cool. Done with the 6mm disc. I wanted to show you how to do a ring, and I wanted to show you that you can also make this components into a necklace. So there's so many uses and possibilities for this design. It's absolutely incredible, and this is why it's my favorite, because it's flowers. So I'm going to show you guys first to make this one, okay, because it's done with larger beads and the beads are bright. You can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to show you how to take and make the flower into an earring, because this here is different. I had to do something very special in order to get this design to work as a stud. And I'm also going to show you how to make the flower into a ring. And I am so happy about this. Oh, here's some other things I wanted to show you. These here are called Czech ripple beads. They're really cool. One side is gold, the other side is this purple. It's called California, Czech ripple, California. That's the color of it. Continues over here, violet, 12mm. These also work for the flower, but they're really big. It's like the same size as this one here. But I don't know what I'm going to do with a flower this big. I actually think that it would be cool as a decoration if I could make, like, you know, some house decorations with it somehow. And these here are metal sequins that I have found at thrift stores. This one is really thin and flat, and I wanted to make a ring with these, but I had so much going on. I've been working on so many projects, and I've been uploading videos like almost every day. I'm trying really hard. So I didn't get to make these into rings, but this one here is a metal sequin, and these here are brass. These are also sequins, but they're really thick, and they're like heavy duty. And man, I wish that I was able to make a ring with these, because I bet it would be cool. And they're actually 6mm, and they would probably be perfect for an earring. So I just wanted to show you guys all of the different options you have for this. Sequins are really fun to play with. If you're going to get sequins to do this ring, you're going to want to get them in different sizes. I found that 10mm is the best size. If you want, you could do what I did and stack the sequins. And by the way, all of the sequins that I own, I have gotten from thrift stores. I've never bought them new. I've always bought beaded clothes that had sequins on them, and I saved the sequins, and I've recycled them into my jewelry. So this one here, you can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different sequins. So there's like a 5mm, 6, 8, and 10. And I did that with a lot of these to get the different looks. They're just so cool. So I think this is the last one here I haven't shown you guys. These I think are also 12 millimeter, and I would have liked to make these into a flower, but again the flower is really big, and I don't know what I'm going to do with a flower this big. It could be a brooch maybe. I could put it maybe on a purse or something, but there's just so many options with this design. It really is my favorite. So let's go ahead and start making this. I'm really excited to show you guys how to do this. Alright, I'm going to go into the list of materials, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the list of materials now in the video to make these flowers here, but if you want to know the list of materials to make the stud earrings and for the ring, I'm going to have those two material lists down there below the video in the description bar. You'll see this little spot that says show more. Click that and it'll open up, and there you'll see the list of materials, and I'm also going to have links to the materials that I am using in this video for these rings here, the Czech beads. I will have links for the shell beads, and also I wanted to tell you guys these seed beads that I'm using here are like the same exact color as these shells, and they are called, they're made by Miyuki. They are antique ivory pearl Ceylon Miyuki seed beads, 50 grams. I think I actually have 100 grams in here because I always buy 100 grams of seed beads whenever I order them. It's just the way I am. Anyways, these are from Auntie's Beads Direct. It has been a few years, maybe like 5 years or so since I ordered them, but I think this is the code for them here. So if you want to get the same color as I have to match your shell beads, you can get these from Auntie's Beads Direct, and here again same color. These are 11-ohs. They are beautiful. I love this color seed bead so much. Alright, so to make this you are going to need 3 feet of 10-pound monofilament, alright, and you're going to need 12 10mm shell disc beads. Again, I will have a link for this down there below the video. And you're going to need 12 6 through 7mm rice shell beads. Again, I will link this below. And you're going to need a 4mm round bead for the center of your flower. I'm using a pearl. And you're going to need 8 seed beads in 2 different colors. So, well, you can do one color if you want, but I like to have the top being one color since it's the center of the flower, and the rest being a different color. So my center flower is going to be pink, and then to match the petals I'm using the antique ivory Miyuki seed beads in 8-ohs and also 11-ohs for my bales on my flowers. Okay, so again, this is the list of materials. I will link all of the materials I'm using down there below, and you will see 3 different material lists for this flower. You'll see material lists for this flower because each one I use a different amount of string. I'm using different sizes of beads, and after I show you guys how to make this flower, I will go into the earring and show you how to get the flower to work as an earring design, because there's something special you have to do in order to get it to work, and it's very important that I show you guys that. Okay, I'm going to start by making the base of the flower, and I already went ahead and colored the ends of my monofilament with nail polish. One is red and one is black, and I'm going to use the 8-oh seed beads first. I'm going to pick up 6 of them. There's 4. This is 5, and this is 6, so I'm going to slide the 5 down, and then I'm going to crisscross my strings through the 6th bead, put my ends together like this, okay, and bring this bead down. Just like that. I have a circle, and then with one of the strings, I'll take the black one, I'm going to pick up 1 rice bead, 1 seed bead in 8-oh, and then a rice bead, slide that down, and then an 8, slide that one down, and then a rice bead, and crisscross through this bead. Bring it down. I now have this. I'm going to take this string and pass through the next seed bead. Okay, I'm going to go like this. Bring that through. This string here, the one that's on the outside, I'm going to take that one and pick up an 8-oh and then a rice bead, slide that down, and then an 8, slide that down, and then I'm going to pick up a rice and crisscross my ends through this one. Bring it down. By the way, this weave I'm doing is a weave that I just recently did in 2 ring tutorials with a cabochon, a round cabochon and an oval cabochon. Now, in those tutorials, I didn't have seed beads here, and I was using round 4mm beads. But with this ring, I had to alter the weave to make it work for the flower. So I have this now. I have to take this center string, and I have to pass through the next seed bead to reposition myself so I could pick up new beads. Okay, so going through that bead there, pulling it. Now I have to take the outside string and pick up 1/8, a rice bead, an 8/0, a rice bead, and crisscross through the rice. Just like this. I have to reposition this string again by going to the next bead. I gotta do this with my right hand. I am not left-handed. Okay, going through that next bead there, pull this through. Then I go to my outside string, which is red, and I have to pick up 1/8, a rice, an 8, a rice, and I'm going to crisscross through this one. By the way, I did forget to mention that you have to use monofilament in order to make this design. It will not work with thread. You have to use a stiff 10-pound monofilament in order to get this to work. Okay, now I have this, and I'm going to pass through that seed bead there. You know, every time I do design something, I will try thread or monofilament, and sometimes I just know what will work and what won't work. So if I tell you in the video to use this kind of string material, it's because the other kind won't work, and sometimes both will work, and I will tell you if they will or not. And this is just one of those designs where you have to use monofilament. Okay, so here is an 8/0 now, and my rice bead, and an 8/0, slide that down, pick up a rice, crisscross both ends through the rice bead, like this, bring it down. Okay, now I have this. I have to take this string here, go through this 8/0, and then go through this rice bead. Pull both strings, and we have this. Okay, now I'm going to take, and on each string I'm going to pick up 1/8 seed bead and my last rice bead, and I'm going to crisscross through it. Just like that, bring it down. Okay, so now our base is complete. Isn't that pretty? I love this design. It can be used so many different ways. It is one of the most amazing designs, this weave here. Alright, now we're going to do the petals. Now, with this, when you do this with sequins, you have to, the first time we're picking this up, you want to pick up your beads backwards. So you're going to be starting from the bottom of the flower going up like this. Okay, so if you're doing sequins and you're doing them stacked by size, first you're going to want to pick up your biggest sequins to your smallest sequins on both sides, and then you're going to crisscross through an 8/0 seed bead, and then when you continue working, you're not going to go then from the bottom, you're going to be working from the top down. So then you go from going to biggest to smallest. You will then start picking up your smallest sequins first to your biggest, going down the flower, and then you're going to go through the bottom and back up, and you're going to turn around, and again you will repeat that again, picking up your sequins from smallest to biggest. So only at the beginning you will pick up your sequins from biggest to smallest because you're going up in this direction. I hope this makes sense. When I first designed this, I felt like there was no way that I can explain all this, but after years of doing this, it's become natural for me. Okay, I'm going to take the 8/0 seed beads because we're going to be working with these more. And by the way, I am going to explain this more to you as I work, so that if you do this with sequins, because they really are cool looking with sequins, I really want you guys to be able to make this. So I'm going to pick up 1/8 seed bead on each side, slide those down. Okay, I'm working up now, so I have to take my sequins, my shell sequins, and I noticed that with these shell sequins that one side is like a rainbow pearl color and then the other side is just pearl. So one side is prettier than the other. So I want this to be my top, so I'm going to pass through the bottom of the sequin because I want this to be the top, and then I'm going to pick up my next 8/0, and then I'm going to get another sequin and I have to decide which side I like more as my top. This side I want to be my top, so I have to pass through the bottom so that this is my top. Okay, slide that down, and then I'm going to go to this side. Now I already have an 8/0 seed bead added here, so I have to pick up a sequin, and I want that to be the bottom, this to top, so I'm passing through the bottom there, and then I pick up an 8/0, and then the next sequin here, let's see, I want this side to be the top, so I'm going through the bottom, and then I'm sliding these down, and then you should have what looks like this. Okay, on each side, slide the beads down there. Now what I'm going to do is pick up 1/8 on each side. This is going to be my flower center color, so one pink on each side, and then I'm going to pick up 1/8 and crisscross it through it. This is going to be for the center of my flower. Bring it down. I now have this. Okay, I'm going to take this string here on the right, and I'm going to pick up, well, first of all, I'm going to now be working with one string at a time. So I went from working with two, I'm going to work with one. I'm going to do this side, this half of the flower, and then I'll stop and I'll go and do this half of the flower. So now working on this half of the flower, I started at the bottom working up towards the top of my flower, so I had to pick the sequins up from the bottom, and I wanted the pretty side to be on the top. Now we're going to be working down. So if you're using sequins, you're going to be picking up the smallest sequins to the biggest. So here is my two 8/0 seed beads that I have to pick up, and then my sequin, and this time instead of coming from the bottom, I want this to be the top of my flower, so I'm going to pass down to the pretty side. Okay, and then an 8/0, and then choose which side I like. This side I'm going to be passing down, and then pick up another 8/0 like that, slide it down. I'm going to go like this. Okay, I'm going to show you what I got there. Now I have to take my string and I have to pass through this next rice bead, but I have to go in this direction towards the shell beads I already added. Okay, pull this through. It's going to want to twist on you. Just like that. I'm going to pick up 1/8. Okay, now I have to pass up through this shell bead. I'm going to skip over this 8/0 seed bead because we want the 8/0s to cluster in a group of 4 right there. And then I'm going to pass up through this 8/0, pull this through, take the string and pass through the next 8/0. Pull it tight like that. This is what I have. I'm going to use the same string, and I'm going to pick up 2 8/0s that are pink. Okay, and then my sequins, and I have to go down through the pretty side. I'll come out the dull side, and then pick up another 8-0, my sequin, I want this to be my top, I'm going to go down, and then another 8-0, and slide this down. Okay, so again I'll show you that's the beads that I picked up in this order, and now I'm right here. So I have to go down through the next rice bead, again going in the direction of all the beads that I just added, through there. Okay, and then I'm going to pick up one 8-0 seed bead. I'm right here. I'm going to pass up through this sequin, the 8-0, the sequin, and the 8-0 there on the top. Okay, and then this bead will pop into place, so you can see they have groups of 4 8-0s, and then I have to pass my string through this 8-0 right here. Pull it through and pull it tight. Okay, now I'm going to go to my other string and work on the other half of my flower. Now I'm right-handed, so I have to actually work in this direction, so I'm going to pick up 2 8-0s. This is my flower center color, and then I'm going to do my sequin, and I have to go down through the pretty side, and then an 8-0, and then my sequin, and again choose which side you want to be facing the top. I'm going to go down, and then an 8-0, slide them down like this. Okay, I'm going to pass my string through this rice bead here, like this. Again, going towards the work I've already done. Pull it through, pick up one 8-0 seed bead. I'm going to pass up through this sequin bead, skipping over the 8-0. Okay, skipping over that 8, go to the sequin, and 8, sequin, and through the first pink 8-0 right there. And then I'm going to go through this middle 8-0 seed bead. Okay, now I know this looks messy right now. That's okay, we will fix it. I will straighten out all the petals. I'll show you how to do it. It's just not time to do it yet. And now I'm going to pick up 2 8-0 seed beads, slide those down. I have 2 petals left, so I gotta pick which side I like. The side's pearlier, which is girlier, so I'm going with that. And then my 8-0 seed bead, and then which side? This side. I'm gonna go to this side. Actually, this side's better. And then an 8-0. Okay, slide that down. I have to pass through this rice bead, like that. I'm going to pick up one 8-0 seed bead, and I'm going to go through the sequin, the 8-0, and through the 8-0 there on the top. And then I have to turn, and I'm going to go through this 8-0. Okay, so now here I am. So I have tweezers here. I find them to be very important for doing this, and I'm going to turn all of my sequins so that they overlap each other. Okay, so just like that. See how they overlap, one overlapping the other? Okay, now I have to pick up my last 8-0 that is pink for the center, and I'm going to crisscross to this bead, and doing this is going to tighten up the whole flower. Like, it tightens all of it up in one shot. See that? Looks great, doesn't it? So pretty. Okay, now right here it looks screwy. That's because we have not gone down to this side and connected into this bead yet. But before we do that, we have to add our flower center. So to do that, just Just make sure that this looks right. Yeah, okay. To add the flower center, I'm going to take my strings and see which one's longer, because one is always longer, and that's going to be my red one. You may have the black one be longer, just take that one. You want to use up the longer one. And I'm going to pick up my center bead, which is the 4mm here. And I have found that when you make different flowers, you will need different beads. You will need to have a different bead for the flower center, and you will see that when you look down there in the description bar at my material list. I have that explained in the materials. Okay, so here's my bead. I'm going to come straight across and Xing out of this, and I have to pass through this bead, but I have to go through it in this direction. Okay, and it's probably going to want to go down to the center of my flower. So to stop that from happening, I'm going to take my bead awl and I'm going to lift this bead up, which will prevent it from going into the bottom of my flower. Now I do have nail polish on here, so that's probably going to be part of the challenge. Okay, I got through. I hope you saw that. Got through there, pulling this down. Now before I pull this tight, I've got to go back to this here, this area, and I'm pulling this tight. Okay, make sure that's very tight as you can get it, and then pull this string so that the bead lays in the top in the middle, and then pass your string through this 4mm bead like this. Okay, pull it snug, but don't pull it real tight. And then I'm going to take the string and I have to pass through this bead here where I started at to secure the pearl in place, like this. Okay, I'm going to pull each string tight like that, and then I'm going to work with one at a time, and I have to go down through my flower beads. So I'm going to go through this 8/0, through the sequin, through the 8/0, through the sequin. You want to come out right here. You do not want to pass through that 8/0. This is going to straighten our flower out because right now it's a little sloppy. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side, through this 8, the sequin, the 8, the sequin, pull it through, pull it tight like that. I'm going to take and pick up an 8, and then I have to pass through this rice bead here, I'm going to go to this string and pick up an 8 and pass through the same bead, opposite direction. Okay, and then I'm going to pull both strings tight, and there we go. So you want to make sure that these here are overlapping like this. This row here you don't really have to worry about. You can do some things like push this center down like this, which makes the second row pop out, but it will loosen up on you, so then you will have to go back and pull this tight. Okay, so now I am going to do my bails. So here's the bottom of my flower. I have a bail on each side. If you want, you can just have one of these as a pendant on a necklace, and I really do recommend that you put a seed bead bail on each side, because whenever I design pendants, I find if you have a bail on each side instead of just in the middle, the pendant will not flip on you. If you have a bail in the center of the pendant, it will flip on you. So to prevent that from happening, do 2 bails. Okay? Now, let's see here. Is there a longer string? Yeah, the red one's longer, but not by much. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add bails, and I'm also going to tie knots. So I'm taking this here and I'm pushing the beads down so that my 8/0 pops out for me, and I'm going through this 8/0 seed bead here. I have to pick up an 8/0. Okay, slide that down, and I'm going to pick up 6 11/0 seed beads. This is for my bail. One of my bails. There's my 6 beads. Slide those down. Okay, I'm gonna go back through this 8/0 that I just added. It's going to make a circle, which is my bail. Here's my bail. I'm going to pull this down, slide the 8/0 down and pull it like that. Okay, and then I have to pass through this 8/0 seed bead. Like that. Through there. Pull it tight. Okay, and then I'm going to go through my rice bead. Sometimes when I can't pass through a bead, what you have to do is roll the bead and then it'll go through. Okay, so there. Pull this tight. I'm going to go through this 8/0 now. Okay, I'm going to pick up an 8, and then I'm going to pass through the next 8. And you're probably like, why aren't you doing the bail here? That's because you have to skip over one spot to do the bail. Okay, I'll show you. So see how I have a bail here? I'm skipping over this area and I'm going to put my bail here. See? So that when you connect them together, it's a straight line like this. Well, it's not perfectly straight. You don't want perfectly straight because then these would flip. You just want the bails to be on the side of the pendant. Okay, so that's why I'm doing it like this. There's a method to my madness, I promise y'all. Okay, now I'm going through the next rice bead, just like that. I have to go through the 8/0, and then I'm going to pick up 1/8, and I'm going to pick up my 6 11s, slide those down, pass back through this 8, put my needle in here, bring this down. I have to go through this 8/0 right here. Okay, pull it tight, and then I'm going to go through this rice bead, and I'm going to pull both of my strings tight on each side. If you take an awl and you put it like this through here, you'll make these round. Okay, and then you want to pull this tight and put it back in there again to make it keep that shape. So now I have to start tying knots, and to do this, what I like to take my string and I'm going to pass underneath of the rice bead like this. Okay, make a loop. I'm going to go through this loop twice, bring this knot down right here. I'm going to pass through this 8/0, and then I'm going to pick up 1/8 and go down through this 8-0. Okay, pop that bead in place, and then I'm going to go underneath the rice bead. So this is my second knot, through this loop twice, once, twice, and then slide the knot down, and then I'm going to go through this rice bead. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, let's see, I gotta think about this. I did it kind of differently on each one that I tied because I was like trying to figure out the best way. So I'm going to go to my other string and I'm going to tie a knot here. Okay, I'm going to pick up my bead, my 8-0, fill this gap, go through here, tie a knot, pass through here. So that's 2 knots tied there. And then I'm going to end up over here where there will be 1 bead. So then I think what I did is I passed through this bead and this bead, and I picked up an 8-0, I brought it down together, and then I think that I might have somehow tied them both together, and I ended up finishing this by passing my tail up through one side and trimming it here at the top, and then I passed my tail through another side and trimmed it up at the top. But you want to tie at least 2 knots on each string and then pass your tail up through the top. That is the goal. So I'm going to leave you here with this, and I'm now going to go to the earring and show you how to make that work. Now I'm going to show you how to do this as an earring. You have to do it this special way because if you don't, the earring won't turn out. So I'm working with 11 seed beads and I'm working with the 8 seed beads as my base. On the bottom of this, my 8 seed beads are taking place of the 6 and 7 millimeter rice beads, and the 11 seed beads are taking place of the 8 seed beads in that there. So this is what I made up. Okay, this is my base. Now this time when you make your base, you're not going to be adding the 11 seed beads with the 8-0s. You're first just going to do your circle of 11 seed beads, and then you're going to pick up your 8-0s and you're going to crisscross through an 8-0 and work in through the center, but you're not going to have any 11 seed beads, so it should look just like this in your weave. Okay, so you're going to do the same exact thing. You're just skipping adding the 11-0s. You're not going to do the 11-0s, just 8-0s. So once you have this, you're then going to do your petal beads and your 11 seed beads, and when you get that done, I'll show you what to do after that. I put on my petal beads and my seed beads here on the top, and now you can see that I just have to close this and put my bead on the top, and then I have to weave back to the bottom, right? Well, when you're making this into a stud earring, you have to put your post in here, okay, and it has to come out the center hole there, but you have to secure the post in place because it's just going to be moving up and down because it's hollow inside of this flower. So what I do is I take my post, and I have to do this with tweezers because it's pretty small in here, as you can see, and I'm going to pass my post through this center hole here in my base. Okay. There it is inside, and then I have to take a 6 millimeter bead. I use a clear one because you can't, see the bead inside of there. If you use a dark color or a totally different color than what is on the outside of your flower, you will see the bead in there. So I have my clear bead in there, and now what I have to do is pick up an 11 seed bead, crisscross through that, bring it down. Now the 6 millimeter bead is pushing down on that post, and it is making it stick outside of the bottom here. See that? So I tried using an 8mm bead, that wouldn't work. I've tried using some different sizes, and 6 was the best one to go with, so that's why I did that. So now what I have to do, after crisscrossing through that bead, I have to put my center bead on the top, okay, just like we did with that, and then I have to weave down the side here, and then I'm going to come out the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because it's done the same way as this flower, and then when I get to the bottom, I'm going to show you what you have to do to the bottom that is different than that flower in order to get this to work as an earring stud. I'm back and I finished my bead there on the top, and I'm here at the bottom. Now what I have to do is I have to make the bottom of this flat, like super flat, in order for this post to be sitting in here right. So to do that, what I have to do is to take my monofilament, and I'm going to pass through this seed bead, this 11-0. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side, pass through the 11-0. Like this. And I'm going to take one of my strings, doesn't matter which, because we'll do it to both, and I'm going to pick up one 11-0 seed bead, and I'm going to go through these 3 right here. The 11-0, the 8-0, and the 11-0. Okay. Pull the string through, if I can get a grip on it, like this. Okay, and the bead just popped into there. I'm going to do it again. Pick up an 11. And then go through these 3. Now I'm only getting through 2, so I'll have to go back down through the 3rd bead. Okay, and then I'm going to put another 11-0 right here. And then I'll go through these 3 and put another 11-0 there. Now you do want to like keep your strings even, so I go back and forth. Like this one here is shorter, so I'll go to the longer one and I'll put a seed bead in there. Okay, and I just try to get my strings to be even. And then you want to crisscross both of your strings out of an 11-0, an 8-0, and 11-0. Okay, both of them will be crisscrossing out of those beads, and then you will go through here on the sides and tie your knots inside of the 8-0 seed bead. You want to tie one knot inside of like this one, and then a knot inside of this one, and then you're going to go through the 11-0 and you're going to weave your string, your tail, up through this petal here, these petal beads, come out this 11-0 seed bead and trim your string. Do the same thing on the other side. Come up through the top, and you just need 2 knots on each side. That's it, and you'll be all done. Pretty cool, huh? So weaving the bead in between in the gaps there and pulling this tight is what makes this flat, so that this here will be stable. Now we're going to do the ring, and the ring, the flower for the ring is made the same exact way as this one here is made, okay? I'm just using different size beads, and like I said, I will list down there a material list of the beads you will need to make the ring. So after you make the flower, you're then going to just start doing your ring band, and this is one of the ring bands that I do all the time. And I'm not going to show you how to do this ring band because this video is getting very lengthy, and I've shown how to do this a lot. If you haven't seen this, then you need to go watch some of my other videos. So after you get your ring band made up, you then have to connect this side to this side. So I'm going to crisscross both of my strings through this bead, and then we're going to weave through the sides and fill in the gaps like I always do with this ring band. Okay, I've shown how to do this like a million times. Now after we get done with that, that's where this becomes different, how you will finish this ring off. So I'm going to go ahead, connect this to this side, I'm going to fill in the sides, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how to finish the ring off, okay? I'm back, and I finished attaching it to here, and I filled the sides in, and I got over here, and then I ran into some problems. So originally when I made this ring, I crisscrossed both of my monofilament ends through this 4mm bead, okay, and then I went in this direction and that direction, and I started filling in the sides here and tying my knots. Now this time I've tried, no lie, for probably 30 minutes or more to get through this bead, and I can't. I just can't get through it. These beads that I'm using, these 4mm beads, are just round glass beads. They're not Czech druks. I used Czech druks in this one, the red color, and it went smooth as can be, but this one here is fussing with me. So we're gonna have to do something differently. So I realized that I can just go through this seed bead here that's on the side of my 4mm bead, and then I'm going to pick up a new bead. That one's too thin. This one here, I want it nice and chunky. Okay, and then I'm gonna go through this seed bead here, just the seed bead. I might have to use my awl. I have to use my awl a lot for this piece, so just gonna go like this. And I lost my bead already. Pick my bead back up again. I'm gonna go through this one seed bead. Okay. Pull that out. The seed bead will pop right there into place, and then I have to take my string and lift this up, lift this string up, okay? Take and go underneath just like this. Catch that string. Okay, I'm gonna pull this tight, pull both sides tight before I pull this knot all the way down, and I'm making a loop, and I'm passing through this loop twice. Oops, I went in the opposite direction and tied it. So like this, once and twice, and then I'm going to pull this knot down. Okay, and then what I do is I pass through this 4mm bead, and then I pass through this seed bead, and then I pick up a new seed bead, and then I pass through this seed bead, and then I tie a knot here, and I pass through the round bead, and then I pass through this seed bead, I pick up a new seed bead, put it here, pass through this seed bead, and then I have to weave down here, and I will have to tie a knot in here. Now, whenever you tie knots in a ring band and you're using monofilament, you don't want to pass through the knot loop twice because it makes it too thick, and then you can't hide the knot in your seed beads. So what you want to do is you want to go through a few seed beads, make a loop, pass through it one time, pull the knot down, pass through some beads, again make a loop, pass through it one time, and pull it tight, and then pass through some beads. Do that a few times, okay? Just to secure your string in here, and then pass the rest of your string through the entire ring band, because this makes it really round. It gives it a nice round shape. If you don't, if you only go through like half of the ring and then you trim your string off, you will notice that your ring band will not be round, and it's because you cut your string off and you should have went through the entire ring band to make it a round shape. So then after you get done on this side, you're going to do the same exact thing that I just told you to do on this side to this side, and you'll be all done. Okay, so you do want to make sure, like I said, I couldn't go through this bead, so I have to go straight down into the ring band. So when you come over here, you want to make sure that you go straight down through this bead right here and not through this bead and tie your knots. This is it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I put a lot of work and time into this video. Like I said, I've had it planned for years, and I'm so happy to finally do it, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. So please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. Make sure you click the bell button so you get notified when I upload new videos, and check me out on my social media sites. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. Go there and like me and follow me and send me some pictures of the stuff that you guys make, because I love to see what you create. Thank you so much for watching.